I don't know, like, she's out there. You're the Florida version of Sex in the City, JD.
That's when I was smoking my cigars.
Don't be an asshole today.
Rainbow Remix, The Best of Pride, June 2022.
Some Pride wear.
Woo! Oh, nice. Love
there
it.
It is.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, I figured we got what, two more shows to make it through Pride Month.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've worn every piece of Pride clothing I have now. So
good for you.
I might have to rainbow tie-dye something between now and next show.
Yeah.
I bet you know how to do that too.
I don't. I don't. It's painful.
Well, I was telling Tyler, I was telling Denise about the distillery you were telling me about.
Yes.
Could you explain? Because I don't, when we were
I'm
talking
excited
the
about
phone,
that.
yeah. And when I was talking with you, Tyler, the phone kept cutting in and out.
Yeah.
So that's why if I asked you a question and it was something you already told me, I probably didn't hear it. So fill us in on this amazing distillery.
Yeah. So I was looking for doing a cocktail for Pride Month, and just with the bar scene, there's a lot of interest in everything, and our distributors try to help out and provide product and everything. But this one was provided. It's called Saint Luna. And it is a very refined moonshine. It's an unaged whiskey, charcoal filtered but unaged, and it's one of only a really small kind of handful of LGBTQ plus owned distilleries in the world.
Wow!
And the head distiller is a personal friend of one of my distributors, so he's sold us this product. I've used St. Luna in multiple cocktails, not knowing the backstory. It's just a really cool, they use rye and molasses when they make it. So so it's got these really cool notes. If you want to use it with something a little more acid forward, you get a little bit more of kind of those like sweet notes out of it from the molasses. And if you want to make kind of a more complex cocktail, you get the sweet notes. But if you do something a little more stirred and up, you get those rye spice out of it. So it's really cool, really unique product, and very, very interesting. Also, the time coming up on June, it was fun to have that and kind of figure out what I wanted to do with it. And then his business partner, who does a lot of their cocktail side, is a trans woman as well. So they've got a really cool dynamic there. Their website's really cool. Their products are really cool. And while I was doing some research on them, I went to their cocktail sections, and they know how to make cocktails.
Oh,
that's
great. They have
great.
your seal of approval.
Yes.
So
I didn't even take any major liberties. I just took one of their cocktails off of their website. That they call the Moonlight Revival, just to kind of showcase their moonshine with a couple kind of interesting, recognized ingredients.
Right.
And when I was reading through that one and wanted to taste it, it's amazingly balanced, really, really fun, a little bit of herbaceousness, not too sweet or anything, which you get sometimes on those. The distiller's website sometimes go a little sweet forward. This is a very nice balanced cocktail that doesn't need any major changes. So I threw a couple things at the board, wanted to be creative, and said, you know what, they've done a great job, made a great product, and have a great story. I'm just going to run their Moonlight Revival.
I like it.
Wow.
Moonlight Revival.
It's
Saint Luna.
Yeah.
I like
Saint
it.
Luna.
I like the name. I like the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's beautiful. That would be a great name for a song, Moonlight Revival.
So anyway, again, it doesn't smell like moonshine or like white lightning.
I was just going to say, we shouldn't be put off by the label of moonshine.
No, and I love that they went with the name.
Moonshine out of a mason jar.
Yeah, not at all.
Okay.
They took a product that's very American, very to the roots. The owner has roots in Tennessee. They distill in North Carolina, but tying back into a really big American tradition that gets overlooked and underplayed, and really trying to refine it and go from there. And they've made a perfect product, really highlighting what they're trying to do. Okay. So this is going to start just an ounce of the St. Luna. on their website, they called for Lillet Rosé, which is another, I'm going to use Koki Rosé, which is their quinated aromatized wines. So quinine is the ingredient that goes into tonics to make them kind of bitter and tangy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so
I
this is
didn't know
going to
that
be,
was a thing.
yeah, so it's going to be kind of a tangy vermouth almost. It's not quite a vermouth, but it's still aromatized and infused wine. We're going to go 1 ounce
1 to 1.
of the,
Okay.
for me, Koki Rosa. And then they called for Combier, which is going to be a brandy-based orange liqueur.
Nice.
And I hadn't worked with
You
it
don't
before.
have that.
Nice.
Can you do like a Grand Marnier or something?
Yeah, you can use a Grand Marnier. You could probably use a Cointreau if you were really in a pinch. You probably want to add a little bit less citrus, but you could use a triple sec or something like that. But
Okay.
I had never worked with the Combier, so I wanted to give it a shot, and it's very nice, very round. Again, thinking like a kind of a Grand Marnier, Cointreau type field. I think this is a little more mellow, kind of cuts nicely and marries a little better. It doesn't quite get those like really sharp high notes that you sometimes get.
Mhm.
Okay.
And it doesn't quite have some of those glycerin effects that you get in some of those products.
Oh, good.
So I was
That's
very
okay.
pleased.
I've
Gonna go
never
an
tried
ounce
that. Okay.
of that. So far I'm at an ounce of St. Luna, an ounce of Koki Rosa, and an ounce of the Combier. Then to balance all that, just a ½ ounce of lemon juice.
Oh,
I found this very fascinating to do a three-part equal parts cocktail and then add the lemon to balance citrus. Part of the reason why I thought it was very interesting when I made it, it works very, very nicely. So
All right.
from there, you've now added citrus. So normally I would have stirred something with this build, but we're going to shake it now, get it all nice and married.
All right.
and there we
There
go.
it is. I know. I feel like we should have some particular theme for that.
Yes. Oh. Then these are the new shaker tins that I got for my birthday. So I'm still figuring them out, but they're fantastic.
Those are look like the ones that we used to have at the bar that I could never get apart.
So they need to get worn in a little bit. When they're brand new and they haven't kind of been deformed, they do seal really, really nicely, almost too nice sometimes.
Yeah, there was a trick to it, like tapping it in a certain place on the bar or whatever, and I never could get it. I
No,
would have to have. I remember having pool wars trying to get. Yeah.
No, it is one of the most frustrating skills because you either get it and you're lucky, and once you get it, you figure it out, or you don't, and you're 3 years as a bartender still trying to figure out
It
how to
has
get
something to do with like that seal, like it, to knock just a little zip of air, like to get it to unseal, and I just couldn't do it.
exactly.
You don't want to be like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
and
my
then it's
nightmare.
everywhere.
Right.
So then from their website, they wanted to do a rosewater infused absinthe spritz. My spritzer is currently out of commission, and I did not have time to order a new one. So what their recipe is it's 1 teaspoon of rosewater into 5 ounces of absinthe. Instead of
That sounds good.
Wait, isn't it minty? Is absinthe minty?
Absinthe is a anise, so a little bit reminiscent of licorice.
Oh, like licorice.
Yeah, but again, when you do spritzes and things like that, you're just getting that aroma, and you're using it more as a bitter than as just liqueur. But through my perusings, there's been this thing called the Ohen cocktail. It's very popular in New Orleans. For a while, it was just as popular as your Sazerac. Oh
wow!
And your Bucaret. So it was very, very popular in the early 1900s. And Ohen is an anisette from Spain that for some reason took off in New Orleans. There's not really a good connection. Like the story isn't even really there. It's just it became this really high-end product that the who's who like to drink, so everyone drank it.
Like it should be from France, not Spain.
Yeah,
New Orleans, right?
And it just ties in, but they liked it, and so I have my little mixture here based on those same proportions. And since I don't have my spritzer, I'm just going to rinse the glass in it like you would, if you're going to do a martini or a Sazerac.
Right.
Rinse, still get those aromatics and everything.
Fancy.
Ooh. Then with all of my new bar tools.
Wow.
Oh. Nice.
Look at that. No more improvising at home.
Yeah, I've got the full kit to caboodle now. And if you look at it, it's got this
Oh,
that's
amazing
pretty.
color. Like
That
It's
is
a
really
pretty
pretty.
color.
it is
Wow.
too light to really call pink, and I think that's awesome. Like
It's like
Mhm.
it's blushy. Yeah, it's just
yeah,
blushy.
blush is the
Blush.
perfect word.
Yeah, like a corally
Yes.
blush.
Mm.
That's nice.
And
I
That,
feel like I
that-
want to smell it.
oh, with the rose water in there.
You scratch
oh,
it.
I bet.
Oh, yeah,
I
you get
bet.
rose water, just a hint of that kind of star anise, like licorice nose. It's just like floral and bright, and
Oh my
That
goodness.
sounds
That
so
looks so
good.
Yeah.
and it drinks amazing. You get a lot of the sweet notes out of that. Like it kind of cuts the rye down. You've added some citrus. You've thrown in the Koki Rosa to balance that out. And it is just fantastic.
Oh wow.
Can we get that that liquor, that moonshine
So-
here, or is it only in Memphis? Is
So
it
it's
local?
distilled and produced out of North Carolina. So I am pretty
Oh.
sure you should be able to get it, JB.
Oh,
I have no idea if they're
cool.
exporting to the UK. So
Yeah,
you're just gonna have to come
I've
back
learned my
again.
lesson. Always the last over here, always the last. But you know, we have a lot of like queer brewing companies, you
Mm,
know, and what I like about that is like that ships right to your door, you know, and you can mix and match like different brews
yeah.
Mhm,
and
mhm.
make, you know, like make your own 6-pack or 12.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and there is one that I follow, and they, you know, like I bought the merchandise and everything. I have the like all beer is gay beer hat, and you know, yeah. So they're queer brewing, and I do like them, but it is hard to find those super trendy. You know, like I'm sure
Mhm.
boy, I could walk into the American bar and ask for,
Yeah.
you know, a drink like on that scale, but
yeah.
you're
Mhm,
never
mhm.
gonna find that in a pub. You're
Mm-mm.
just never gonna find that in a high street pub, or you know,
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
that's the hard thing, and I just don't. I
And
can't
that's-
do the bar stuff.
I'm fortunate that one of my distributors is personal friends with the
Yeah.
distiller, because
Oh,
it's in
yeah.
every bar. It's in every bar in Memphis, just about. But that's because we have a very good champion for them.
Oh, great.
And
Wow.
more than happy to have it. Like I said, I've been using it for over a year and had no idea the backstory. It's just an awesome product.
Do they do anything else, or is that just their signature?
To my knowledge, this is what they're sticking with right now. They're relatively new.
Okay.
So they're just really getting this brand out there. And again, like I said, their cocktail program, I went through, they've got about 15 cocktails posted on their website at St. Luna, and they know what they're doing. And it's cool to read some distiller cocktails that read like a cocktail menu. So
That's really that's I like hearing that, you know, that not only are they making like a quality product, but they know what they're doing with their cocktails.
My Pride docs.
Perfect. Oh, look at, you're so prideful.
I think they still have these on Doc Martin website. They had another version of them years ago, which was actually more like this bottle,
Yeah.
and they a little bit like clown shoes. The whole shoe was that,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So this is cool because it's the laces and it's got the stitching is also. It's hard to see, but the stitching is colors too.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
And I came up. This was my other Pride Month little gem that I found. I totally forgot. I took one of my songs from my very first CD and I made it into a dance version. And it was like kind of like Believe, like Cher's Believe, like that style dance. And I
Okay.
totally forgot about it. So I'm like, I'm gonna put that on my actually I'm gonna put it on the end of this show. So it'll be
Okay.
close out the
All
show
right.
with it. And I'm gonna put it on my social media. I'm gonna put it's called
Yes.
The Lover You Once Knew. And I never really released it. I did it and I didn't feel like I sounded great doing that kind of music. But I'm listening back to it now. I'm like, that was pretty good. Like, why didn't I put it out there? You know, but I was doing country music then and it was so
Yeah.
different from everything I did.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then there's one little
I think
part
everybody
where
would want to hear that. I do.
there's this one little part where I do like a speaking thing, but it's kind of a rap kind of a thing. And then somebody
What
told me,
is happening here? What?
you know what, you're way too white to rap. You really should not be rapping. And I'm like,
You
you're
should
not
not
like
be rapping.
soulful enough, you know, to be rapping. But I did it anyway. And I'm like, listen, sometimes they rap in country music now, so they brought it back a little bit. So I'm going to send you that when we're done. I'm going to
Oh,
send
good. I want my very own copy.
I can never say I didn't try every avenue of everything, including
True.
the dance song.
But I always
But-
feel like for me, like I go big and hard for a long time, and then it exhausts me, and I'm back in like, oh, I can't. I'm too old for this, you know. So I found the perfect thing. And I've told you about this, but I don't know that we've talked a lot about it on the show. But so I have this friend, Linda Anderson, who is an amazing writer, director, producer, and she is very into animation right now. So we've been friends since like 2006. We met at my very first Girls at Gay Days event in 2006. Like,
wow.
She was one of the first people that Donna and I met at Girls at Gay Days, and we were there with a bunch of homo guys. Like we were with a bunch of mo's, and we didn't really know anything. You know, we only knew, like I always say, like we're very familiar with our 3 foot by 3 foot square, you know, like Manners in Fort Lauderdale. We hadn't been to Orlando or anything. So this was huge for us. And this was like, they went all out. The guys like rented a villa and we all stayed there. It was like me, Donna, Vicky, and probably like 5 guys all stayed in this one villa. And they drove us to the girls' events, like the girls' hotel, and just dropped us off one night. And we didn't know what to do or what we were supposed to be doing, but they were premiering like a short called Tell Me. And it was written and directed by Linda Anderson. So, you know, we had the privilege of getting, you know, to meet her before the screening, and we got to go to the screening and all that. And we just had like a lot in common. Like, I feel like we sat and talked, you know, for the rest of the evening. And after that, like every Girls at Gay Days, we would always see each other, and we kept in touch on Facebook and everything. And then her and her wife moved to California because Linda was like serious about filmmaking, and, you know, she knew that she needed to be in the epicenter of it, you know. And that's when I was moving here. And we still like kept in touch and stuff, but you know, life kind of gets in the way, and you just don't keep up unless you see something, or you give something a like on Facebook or whatever. Well, I get this email from Linda a couple of weeks ago saying, listen, I just wrote this script, and I'm doing it in cartoon, and I wanted to know if you would do some voice work for me for some of the characters. And I was like, what? So I read the script and I loved it. And it was so integral to our friendship, because when I made it out to LA in like 2009, I think, or maybe it was after that, or maybe it was 2009, I don't know. But anyways, Linda picked me up to take me to lunch, and the entire afternoon, all she did was bitch about the parking in LA, like just constantly. So she told me that there's nobody parks in LA. And I distinctly remember her saying that. So I get the script, and it's called Nobody Parks in LA. And it is exactly about that. So I was like, oh, this is full circle. So I did the voice work, and it was really fun, but it made you really understand how difficult it is to make a cartoon. Like, you know, when we were talking about it, you know, after I had finished my work and we were just catching up, she was telling me what it takes. And I was just like, oh my God, like you got to have some serious patience. So I told her I had this idea of making some of our best bits from the Lesbian Lounge into little cartoon episodes, like really short 5-minute little episodes. And her face just lit up, and she was like, we can do this. We can do this. So she found an animator through a website, and it turns out that he lives 14 minutes from me here in England. So his name is Steve Cavalcanti. He's a Brazilian. He lives here, and he is an amazing animator. And he created cartoons of me and Donna and Vicky just from pictures. But like we got to know each other through messages, and I was sending him links to some videos. back in the studio, the old days, and
Uh-huh.
pictures and pictures. Like, do you have a side picture? Do you have a front on picture? Do you have a full length body picture? Finding all these pictures, and then to see him create something that was so cute and so fun. And so now we're going to do what's called the TLL Tooncast, and it'll just be a couple of best bits of the Lesbian Lounge, but it'll be us in cartoon form.
That
So
is so cute. I
it's,
love
yeah,
the idea.
this is
And
just
it's
my speed.
cute.
Like, this is just my speed. Like, I don't have to do that much. I mean, Don and I are going to get together and record some lines for the teasers and the trailers and everything, but I'm finding like some really funny bits in old shows
Mhm.
and just kind of like whittling them down to, anywhere between 3 and 7 minutes. Like when we have a good guest, like Kate McKinnon, or
Yeah.
when we had Jill Zarin from Bravo's Real Housewives of New York. Like, those were like super funny shows. So I just clipped those bits down and sent them to Linda, and hopefully we'll have some laughs. Like, it's retro, but cartoon, like animation there's such an explosion of it right now.
Oh
You know?
yeah, that is so amazing. Like
Yeah.
how everything you worked for and did all those years ago is now again coming to life in a different way.
In a
I
different
think that
form,
is
yeah.
so cool.
Yeah. It
And like,
doesn't feel redundant. It just feels like, because it was always a podcast, people never, I mean, there was a short time where they could see us when we were doing it live. When we just were putting out recordings of the podcast,
Right.
that took that away. So now it's like people can see a little bit of us, but in cartoon
Oh
form.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
so
think that
fun.
it's just great that, it's, you never know in this business, you never know in life in general, but
Yeah.
When something you worked on may come back to be relevant or come back to be something really cool that you thought was something you did back in the day. And it's just great that you'll be like immortalized as cartoon
As a
characters.
cartoon
Not
character.
everyone gets that,
Perfect. I'm so much thinner in a cartoon. It's amazing. I love gay pets. That's
Yeah,
one of my faves.
and we do that one because of the fact that some of them are almost like placeholders because the pet market is a big one. And there
Yeah.
are a lot of pet lovers online and they're sharing. So we kind of put those together with no business to be had yet, but just
Right,
kind of like building up a following, and it is. But the crazy part is that the ones that really, every one of them is different. Some regions have a lot more followers than we can ever follow back because they're just so eager for, just there's an eagerness in some regions that you don't find in others. The more remote it is. South Africa is very eager. South Africa is very on it. They they really post. And so but the quirky ones become like I love gay bears. And so for our bear community, they're extremely social and they love to share, and and so that one has just developed and grown into one of our larger, more balanced communities, so to speak. And so
Good.
but then we had a client that was doing nude cruises and nude resorts and clothing optional. That's all part of the LGBT community. It's at least on the G side with gay men especially. So we created I Love Gay Nudists, and I was really surprised to watch how that one exploded. So
So if someone were to say have a new song they're releasing and they want to advertise that, that would be a good platform to be doing that with your company.
Yeah, because we have a strong setup with I Love Gay Music, but then a lot of times they're touring, and so when they're touring, we end up promoting I Love Gay Music, and then like say I Love Gay Virginia or North Carolina, wherever they may be on tour, we'll cross those two over. So they're kind of tapping into both markets, and that's kind of the power of that network is to do that.
I have to talk to you about that later.
I like that. I Love Gay Travel too. That one I find super helpful.
That one's huge. That's one of our biggest. And
it's
and
pretty cool. Like you can literally just go on Twitter and like search some weird passion that you might have. Like I'm gonna give you I love gay cartoons because we've got a lot of gay cartoon content coming up pretty soon. Cartoon Ups is producing the Lesbian Lounge cartoon, our best bits. They're doing Nobody Parks in LA, which is hilarious with Taya from Queer as Folk. So yeah, there's like whatever you're into, you're gonna find a Twitter account for it, like an I love gay
Yeah.
something. And it's just, I just find it useful. And that's rare to say about Twitter.
Yeah,
You know?
well, we're building groups and communities. We build a community. So like what you're just referring to with cartoons, that would we would run that probably through I Love Gay Fandom. And fandom is kind of a generic word, but
Mhm.
there is an entire world of fandom with hashtag gay geeks and gamers with a Y.
Yeah.
And there are entire worlds that are out there that are huge. And so all we want to do is just be part of those communities. We don't want to dominate. We don't want anything other than just to be a part of, because actually the reality is most of them, many of the folks that are active in the fandom and gaming and geek community, they are so much bigger than we'll ever be.
Oh
But,
yeah.
but we just kind of play in their sandbox. Every one of the profiles is designed to actually be like it's all manually done. There's nothing automated, and we're playing in their sandboxes, and we're just simply contributing a bit. We're sharing things that we see, but then we share their content. We like their content, and it becomes a two-way street. It becomes engaged, and it's with all those communities. And so,
It's
and that's what I'm saying.
helpful.
It
Yeah.
seems a little crazy that we have all that, but we're able to manage it quite efficiently. So it all works
You
out.
don't have like, do you have certain people that have that interest manage it, or do you
Yeah.
give like 10 to this person and 10 to that person? And
Yeah, no, it's people that it's much more enjoyable when somebody's able to work on a profile or a few profiles that are more in line with their interests.
yeah.
But the folks that work with us, we don't even have to like go out looking for them, because they are already engaged with us. They're on Twitter, they're engaged. We're kind of sharing back and forth. And it becomes one of those things where a relationship forms, and then it's easy to be able to have them, if you could tell and somebody might be open to that, but then they
Oh.
could come and do some work for us part-time. And so the whole thing, there's no training involved. There's no education to say, like, I don't need to interview someone and say, do you understand Twitter? Or why would you, like, all that is eliminated. And then of course the skill set translates into all the other things. So if we have a campaign on Facebook or Instagram, the skill set from Twitter allows that person to be able to easily migrate to the other platforms as well.
It's really, really interwoven,
Yeah.
it's
for
layered and
sure.
it's nuanced, but it's like I said, I mean, I found you that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We were engaged with each other.
We were engaged.
Yeah, you're a real person, and we treated each other as such.
With it being Pride Month, I wanted to keep things light, and it's been a while since I've seen both of you, so I wanted to make sure that we had a fun conversation. So, okay, so who's heard about Rubble Wilson coming out?
I
Yeah.
always thought she was out, so I didn't think that was news.
Oh no,
that's
she had a
wild.
boyfriend last year, didn't she?
Did she? Oh,
Yeah.
That is so wild that you say that, because yeah, no, she hasn't been, but this is her first relationship with a woman being out.
oh.
Nick, give me the
Yeah.
background on this about Sydney Morning News.
Oh my gosh. Oh, don't get me started on this. Okay, so
Listen to this, Jay.
yeah, listen. Okay. So, I actually reported on this for LGBTQ Nation, and I was talking about how cool it was that she had come out because she posted on Instagram and everything. And I was like,
Pride
oh,
Month,
this,
Pride
yeah, it's
Month,
Pride Month.
yeah.
This is awesome. I love Rubble Wilson. It's like, who doesn't love the Pitch Perfect movies and Bridesmaids and like everything that she's
Right.
been in? And, she is just so funny. She's a ray of sunshine. And I'm like, this is so cool that she's sharing this with us. Little did we know that she actually was going to be outed. And that's why she came out.
Oh.
It was like the Sydney Morning Herald, I believe, or yeah. Okay, so the
And
Sydney
let me just
Morning
name
Herald.
him. Andrew Horny. Hornery. Andrew Hornery. Is that his name?
Andrew Hornery. So he's the one. And so they reached out to her because they had found out that she was dating a woman. And they're like, we're going to release this story about you and this new relationship. And we wanted to give you time to, respond or
Prepare a
something.
statement. Like,
Yeah, prepare a
they thought
statement.
that she would give it to them exclusively, when literally it came across as blackmail.
Yeah. No, that's literally what it was. It's like they basically
Wow.
said, now this is so funny because they were telling on themselves in the article that they had posted and basically saying that. And it's like, that sounds like you're planning to out her when she has not been out before. It's like, you don't do that. That is so messed up.
So
Yeah.
I read this what he's talking about. I read it and I looked up the guy and it was Andrew Hornery or something like that. So I said that I tweeted at him that he was a fucking dick Perez Hilton wannabe. And then
Love
Perez Hilton liked it and retweeted it.
Oh, wow.
What? Of course Perez Hilton would do that. What the fuck is
He's
going
like,
on with him?
oh, I'm in a tweet. Yeah, naturally.
Yeah, it's like, I would not retweet that. What? That is so crazy.
It's like he was proud of it. He was,
Ugh.
You mentioned his
let's give
name.
me some traction.
Any press, right?
Oh my God. And here's the thing. It broke my heart when I read that because I remember interviewing Megan Mullally from Will and Grace, right? Karen
Yeah.
Walker.
Yeah. Love her.
She told me how awful it was for Sean Hayes, who went through the same thing. For years and years and years, reporters would always ask him and he would say, not comfortable talking about it. Nobody's business but my own, whatever. Just didn't want to make a public statement about it.
Mhm.
And got contacted by a press organization saying that they were going to out him if he didn't come out himself. And she said how devastating it was when he got that news, like how all of a sudden he had to, just come up with something, not ready, being rushed, being blackmailed, and that it messed with him so badly. So when I read that, that's the first thing I thought of was, we want to be so happy. And I hope that we've all made her happy with our tweets and our
Mhm.
posts and everything about it, so that she doesn't feel bad. But that story is not getting enough attention, about how it came about. I think people are under the impression they were just scrolling Instagram and went, you know what I mean? But it's
Yeah.
not. There was so much more to it in the background, and I hate that for her. I hate that for her. It should have been on her own terms,
And then
100%.
there's me. Oh, she has a new girlfriend. But she was always out. I don't know why.
I love that. That's how, we should be reacting to this news anyways, right? It's like, I don't know. It's a catch-22 because we should be really excited for somebody to come out. Of course, not in this situation because she was basically forced to, and she handled it with so much class, so much grace.
Yeah. No mention of it, not giving them an ounce of credit. That's what I like is that, they're not getting anything but bad press about it, where she's
Yeah.
getting all the
Yeah.
good press. So good for her.
Okay, so this is what we suggest for watching on TV for the month of Pride.
Okay.
So
Ooh,
who
good.
has heard of it's called First Kill on Netflix? Have either of you?
No.
It just came out this weekend, literally yesterday.
I
And
wonder if
it
I'll get it. Usually you guys get things first, but go ahead. I'll keep an eye out.
hopefully because it is a teen lesbian vampire drama series.
Oh, I heard about that.
Excellent.
I didn't
And
know
it
the
is
name.
so good. It is so good.
Wait,
I binge
JD, you
watched
heard of it?
I did, but I didn't know that was the name. I saw something about it on, I don't know where, surfing. I don't know. What do they call it? Scrolling? Yeah,
Scrolling, yeah.
surfing. So it's
Yeah, you saw it
good.
on Netflix. Yeah,
Okay.
you should definitely give it a watch, Denise. When it comes to you, you definitely have to watch it.
Okay.
It's a fun show, and it's actually pretty serious for a show about teen vampires. And the main character, she's a vampire, and she falls in love with a vampire hunter. She's like a monster hunter. So this is a world where
complicated.
monsters exist. And it's kind of like a Romeo and Juliet type of
Excellent. Yeah.
romance.
Yes, that's perfect. That's a good way to describe it. Yep.
So we have that. And then who has been keeping tabs on the new Queer as Folk reboot?
I haven't got it yet.
I haven't
Peacock.
wanted to
It's on
watch it.
Peacock, so you guys get it. Okay.
Yeah, this is the new one without any of the original people, right?
Correct. Yes, it's a
Okay.
whole new cast. It's super queer. A lot of because I didn't watch the original, but I remember it was centered on. Wasn't it centered on a group of like gay best friends, and it was like
Yeah.
all
It's
white
Bird.
men.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so this one definitely has more representation in it. We see more people a part of the LGBTQ family, and it's really good. I was watching it with my mom actually, and it came out Thursday, and we binge watched it Thursday, and we absolutely loved it. Unapologetic queerness, unapologetic queer sex, just everything is exactly what you would hope from a series today talking about the LGBTQ community.
yeah.
It feels
It's
like
centered
like,
around tragedy.
like the L word, Gen Q, right? Like they wanted to
Yeah.
have trans people in, they wanted to have non-binary people in, they wanted to have queer, they wanted to, like really embrace, tick all the boxes, as they say.
Yes. The show ticked all the boxes, especially just being a really good drama, really good comedy. It's definitely something that I wish I were a part of writing because it's just an incredible show.
Happy Pride, man.
Right. Happy Pride.
All right, well, we're getting snapped off here in a minute, so
Okay.
enjoy your week and let me know where you're at.
I will let you know what's happening, and I'm going to be having a little more of this to start my notes for the Zoom.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Why do you always run back to
Like, never stop chasing your dreams.
you once knew? You're addicted to her touch. That's true. My addiction. And I confess,
See?
my addiction is you.
We drank way too much whiskey.
Don't ask me why I'm here tonight. I had to take this midnight drive to find you. And as I come in through the door, I see her dancing on the floor beside you. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch. That's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. You look at me and in my eyes you see the hurt I can't disguise. I want you. And though it seems I look right through, I'm noticing your every move. She's got you. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch. That's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. You're my addiction. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch. That's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. I turn away to mask the pain, but jealousy reveals my rage and madness. And knowing you can read my mind consumes me in a shameful kind.